no for high TV can ambassador not like no comment no share. Ama only answer the enya bi ahwe. Na elensem no say na same wo Japan about out that is same ba tutu ja say MPP for ba be parliamentary primaries. Mo ba be choose omo member of parliament candidates no. Mo ba be choose omo. We have this parliamentary candidates mo ba be choose omo. Na bantama ne nyina nim say honorable Asenso Boakye, Minister for Works and Housing. Ɛna ɔyɛ MP wɔ currently on an incumbent. So ɔmo ba bɛkɔ ɔmo wei na delegates conference a ɔmo akɔ akɔyɛ ɔmo primaries na definitely he will have to um pick forms again. Na afei wayɛ dɛ ɔmo ato no so aba. So because the other people ɔmo so pɛ sɛ ɔmo yɛ dɛ ɔmo take up that particular seat ayɛ ɔbantima. Na wei na abeto nyina anim sɛ Japan enua ɛna ɔbɛsɛ otu Asenso Boakye ɛwɔ bantima fine politics wei ɛna Japan ɛyɛ den etutu ne nam mirika ba ɛyɛ bantima sɛ ɔba bɛyɛ campaign ama ne nua no nti ne campaign messages na ɔba bɛyɛ ama ne nua ne mu no ɛna ɔde nsɛm bi tutu dwa asɛ ɔyɛ some exposes bi yi na enim ɔna wɔ Japan nso ɔno ne exposes ne secrets ne ade a ɔbɛ revealing those we all know him for that. Na ɔde nsɛm bi tutu dwa sɛ no be expose some nkɔfo bi ne ade enti Asenso Boakye nso yɛ de engineer yi na ɔmanfo no krampo na ɔmo hɔ no ɔmo toma Asenso Boakye a ne secret bi obeyiyi no nti saa kasa de mu na ɛgya ɔka asɛm bi o make some allegation bi sɛ Asenso Boakye ayɛ den afa the late Justice Mafusau ene Justice Victor Ofo ɛdan bi a ɛyɛ aban de ana ɔmo tim so sɛ waton de ama private developers bi just waton ama ankora bi so ɔmo fa nye ɔmo business wei ɛna ɛyɛ judicial service no this statement bi abɛyɛ abɛto abɔnte ɔmo kyerɛ sɛ ɛnyɛ no korɛ na asɛm a ɔmo de to dwa ɔmo say the Judicial Service has denied allegations that the two bungalows that were formerly occupied by the late Justice Mafusau and Justice Victor Fo, retired, have been sold to private developers. Now, it's a deny that particular allegation on a book in Japan at the buyer. No, until court and some nima, mature and some baby. Now, we na join news for a cocoa PM or site honum, maybe a dine one. And now evidence could be assemblyman or work that particular area honum. Now and some assemblyman or honum at the two a joy for any young court new tea.
A Roman-rich community. This property, according to government sources, used to house former senior members of the judiciary. Assembly member for the area, Adam Yusuf, tells Joy News although the initiative is laudable, it should not be handed over to private individuals after its development.
Property, one tenant, and that tenant was a prison officer. And then now, as you can see, we have about 6 units property here, which can house about 3 directors from the same unit or from a different government unit, and which is laudable because the land size of this area over the years was like an acre, but you have a single house, a very small, tiny house in the building. But now, if it's redeveloped, I mean, you can take more people. Yeah, unlike other places, it takes about 8, but this one is a single unit.
Wow, and would help. Definitely.
This thing will really help.
Except that you fear that it shouldn't go into private hands.
That is our fear, because as you can see at the other side, we have a lot of private developers also pursuing to grab those properties from the state. And to me, I don't advise that the state should lose it to the private developer, because they will in turn use it for business and make millions of dollars out of the business, whilst the state officials will be struggling.
Yeah, assemblyman is called the 2 Jano. Oh, I was just say, Sir, dine or honum. Private developers the air per dino, but it didn't answer by air a ton. Who said this statement now? It even shows a dino crown. You yan the home come once a beton. I find a private developers in here day. Air strivers or made on a beton. That means Honorable Japan statement will make you say as a super charton at the Ama private developers. No, it's not true in the first place. But assemblyman there and some more to the on a area honor, rage honor to so Oman for young Connie and to us.
This housing unit you see here at Laboni, one of the prime areas within the Greater Accra region, forms part of government's redevelopment policy. The Works and Housing Ministry explains that it forms part of a broader policy to optimize the use of prime state lands. Upon completion, this very facility with work underway will serve as the primary residence for senior state officials, ministers, superior court justices, and other officials of government and the civil service.
Not just say, Utima, a buying, I say, almost see buildings, no, what government workers, and penny for no more kind, no, my idea, or must stay there for some time because it will be a primary what residence. So you better on better now gives us a transfer and I say or call retirement to be a night they will move you through now other um government the official side about to take over. That means a ton crowd a need or more plans to class on beton a honor combo the I'm a private developers. So what I say. Come on for you to ask.
And I'm back here in the studio, bringing together my colleague Michael Ashale, who's also looking at the details of the statement from the Ministry of Works and Housing. Let's get to it. First off, Michael, what's the response from the ministry in terms of allegations of collusion to sell some of these properties, which we understand are purely state lands?
The ministry says, first of all, strongly refutes the allegation and states that there has been no such sale of property. The facts are that the current developments taking place at the official residence of the late Justice forms part of government's development plan. Now, the program, it says, dates as far back as 1992, which has since its inception been widely implemented by successive governments within the Greater Accra region, specifically in Kanda, Cantonment, West Range, and Roman Range. Now, on 14th May 2018, Cabinet approved a revised scheme regarding the program to include other neighborhoods such as Osu Ringway, Airport Residential Area, again, Laboni. Now, for the avoidance of that, the statement strongly says land has not been sold as it is mysteriously being alleged and remains the property of the state.
I say they strongly was refute. That means ɛnyɛ nokorɛ ɛna pɛ date no ɔde ma no so ɛyɛ ade a successive governments no obi ayɛ since 1992 ɛyɛ ade a wɔyɛ sɛ wɔn build state land ɛde ama wɔ government officials ayɛ de atena tena mu na ɛyɛ 2018 ɛna wɔn gye tum so wɔn de labɔne ne rage ne yɛ de nso saa asase ne yɛ de ɛka that particular what program ne ho na wɔn asisi what government buildings ama what government officials ayɛ de akɔ akɔtena tena hɔ nom. So that particular land na allegations na kyerɛ sɛ Asenso Boakye atɔn no ɛnyɛ nokorɛ. Ɛwɔ aban no nhyehyɛeɛ mu sɛ ɔmo bi si hɔ no nso ɛde ama government officials ayɛ dɛ atena nti ɛka that particular program ne entirety ne nyinaa ho ɛka ne nyinaa ɛhyɛ ne nyinaa mu bi. Asɛ ɔpɛ sɛ ɔkyerɛ no ase ne nyinaa hyɛ mu bi nti ɛnyɛ sɛ yɛatɔn asase bi anaasɛ ɔmo gyina ɔmo nan so sɛ still na it remains government's property and it has not never what been sold by anybody.
Program is rather a cost-effective undertaking which ultimately gives optimal benefit and ensures efficient use of government lands.
And now, what about the concerns, relating to redeveloped lands and also the properties? Will they be handed over to the private sector, or this will go back to, government chest?
Well, it says that currently the ministry is redeveloping 4 such structures which sit on about 3 acres of land in Roman Range, which formerly served as official residence for a late Supreme Court judge, appeals court judge, and a minister of state and a retired chief director. Directly to the question you asked me, says that upon completion of this particular redevelopment, the 3-acre land will now have 20 housing units for ministers and other senior government officials, and 4 units for superior court judges. A memorandum of understanding for this arrangement with the Judicial Service has since been signed by the Chief Director of the Ministry of Works and Housing and the Judicial Secretary, which paints an impression that when they are done, they're going to hand over these to public servants or people that work closely with government.
That means omu saa buildings no more no company. Omu be ma what ministers and no more work very close to what to government. Send ye be ya omu betimi atena or what temporary no. Maybe a more time sooner na se be a more call pension na bibia. They just move out. So that means this particular place no more year no. Yeah, allegations say or my private developers no bubu esi no the enya no kre. Government na ni redevelopment what plan no. And no na mo bubu the esi no for it enya private institution bi na what to asase na or the bubu dan na the esi no for it still belongs to the government. To mu bubu omo esi no for it 3 acre land no omo bubu ni nyina afemasi 4 unit buildings and they like just as he said. So this shows clearly say enya de aban na de aton assassin in the first place. That means Asenso Boakye has no hands in their honorable King Agyapong Ekano. What I say? It's not true. Enya no correct. Yes, I na de this one is a typical word evidence. Join news so you so mo de nka pro NDC what channel a almost a mo bo aban but we there akọ for evidence am ehun say ade na honorable King Agyapong kan na enye no kre. So we just political what campaign message be na all can be a tongue of arguing we say we don't really know about that. But the point is the fact still remains say honorable Asenso Boakye allegation na oma mount against him no. This one is not true. That is what we want to establish. Politics here was he did no crew and found also young people now in this. We have to what see the truth, and this is the truth. So then the no was said, a man did. I'm for a TV Ghana, Macam.